Kind of late, but we're gonna get to it. We're gonna tap back into the reading. We're doing Napoleon Hill, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, chapter 4 continued. Let's just get right to it. Number 2, the fear of criticism. Your mind has limitless power to make a dream come true, provided you allow your mind to work unhampered. Few fears hamper a mind so quickly as the fear of criticism. If you can stop before you get started, and yet it is nothing but the influence of another mind or other minds, a negative influence which often is negative is only imagined. A person who is filled with fear of criticism often will not put forth his ideas lest he is rebuffed, and so he loses his great gifts of imaginations and self-reliance. We may imagine the careers of men who achieve mighty breakthroughs in their fields, and we may marvel at the way in which they found their abilities and put them to effective use. At the same time, we may see many of the obstacles they had to overcome. Rarely, however, do we know of the adverse criticism many such men faced. Had they feared this criticism and let it take root in their minds, all their ability to conceive and achieve might have been crippled indeed. They never thought they never might have felt it, for their minds would have not been free minds that drive ahead. The automobile, of course, would not work, nor would the airplane, nor would space travel. By the time Harry Ford was ready to manufacture automobiles on a mass production basis, the automobile obviously worked, but mass production of such tricky devices was sneered at. They were a laboratory curiosity. Nobody could supply the gasoline necessary, nor the rubber, nor ensure that such necessities would be available to a motorist wherever he might travel. Furthermore, said the bankers with whom Harry Ford preferred not to do business, people simply would not buy such a high priced gadget in sufficient quantities. Almost everyone who knew of Ford's plans condemned them on one ground or another. Surely the sustaining power of love helped Ford to know his own mind, for Mrs. Ford said simply, "Go ahead no matter who criticizes." More recently, a man named Harry Land took a photograph for his young daughter. She wanted to see the picture right away. He explained that first, the roll of the photographic paper must be taken out of the camera and developed in a dark room by means of certain chemicals. Once the negatives were obtained, they had to be printed by intense light upon another kind of paper, which in its turn needed chemical treatment, and so at length pictures would appear. At this point, his unhampered mind took hold. Why not build a camera which produced finished pictures? Anyone who knew anything about photography could have given him a dozen reasons why not. But criticism did not stay the development of the Land Polaroid camera, which does exactly what Miss Land requested. Oh, what's good? What's good? I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let me get back to the reading. Criticism cripples. Criticism cripples, as well in the realm of pure ideas. When I set out to organize the science of personal achievement, I was almost snowed under by the criticism heaped upon my head. Most of the criticism came from my nearest relatives, and this is hard to take. I could not then have put in words the power that kept me going, but I had my mind upon my goal, not upon obstacles, and I kept going. This first practical science of personal achievement has earned more money for its users than was contained in Andrew Carnegie's entire fortune, and he was very likely the world's richest man. It is one thing to listen to advice from a person qualified to give advice. It is another to follow. It is another to allow adverse criticism to blunt the fine edge of your own conquering mind. Notice how much of such criticism comes from people who criticize everything in particular, from people who criticize everybody who tries to succeed. Failure, like other forms of misery, loves company. Cast out fear of criticism and drive ahead. All right, we're going to stop it there. We're going to start number 3 tomorrow, the fear of ill health. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Happy late Father's Day, too, for anybody that's fathers that's tapped in. But I appreciate y'all, man, for joining me. We out.